Hello everyone and welcome to another Starcraft2 video. For this one we're going to continue our series on these botting Gauntlet tournaments, I guess. Last we left off we had Noob Game defeating Lucid PJS for his second victory, and so far we've never had a bot win 3. This is Gauntlet style. When you beat the one bot, you play the next one higher on the ladder and you continue on. So Noob Game will be going for his third straight victory, and this time against the second Lucid bot, the original Zerg bot, which is slightly stronger and much more developed. So let's just hop right into it. And well, let's see if there's anything different written for this one. Also by Lost Lucidity. Looks like it does macro build for Zergling Roach Hydralisk composition at the moment, which is a very strong and generic composition. So, of course, the Colossus Stalker sounded good too and didn't work out very well. With that said, it seemed to be a bug that caused Lucid to lose that match. I think with this bot being his main bot, it's much less likely to die from a bug. But I guess we'll find out. So let's just hop right into it, I suppose. And here we go. All right, this one's going to be on Golden Wall as it loads up. And it'll be a PVZ. So in the bottom left, we have the returning 2-game champion, 2-game king of the hill, I should say. And this is Noob Game. In the bottom right, we have the Zerg opponent, the second and last bot out of Lucid ZJS. So, what will we see out of these two bots? We know what the composition Lucid is going for, assuming that bio is up to date, and we get a pretty good idea that Noob Game likes his stalkers, with some pretty generic but pretty effective kiting back micro, which kind of ran over the low stalker count of Lucid P last match. So we got a Gateway Scout out of Noob Game, and it appears we're going to be going hatch first out of Lucid. So that will get probe scouted. I'm not sure if that causes any special condition for Noob Game that he will scout to the hatch first, but the knowledge will be there. It's going to be gas after hatchery, followed by a spawning pool, I assume. Just waiting for the 200 minerals. So 17 gas, 18 pool. That's about as late of a pool as you can take, so this could be punished by aggression. However, on the other side of the map, we do see a Nexus has been thrown down, so no aggression is planned. I suspect we will see a very common build out of Noob Game, the ones he's been using for the last couple of matches, which means he will be expanding, taking his natural and then his third, but it also involves a pretty scary looking stalker push to start the game. He throws down 4 gateways. He doesn't invest in any sort of tech or upgrades, which means he can afford quite a few stalkers. Pushing out when he has 10 or so. Uh-oh. We've seen this code before out of Lucid. See worker, pull workers. So immediate worker lead for Noob Game. Unfortunately, Lucid is going to be shy on the worker count. Already down 1 worker because of Chrono Boost and the lack of inject so far. And then on top of what we can see in this number, you can add another 5 worker lead to Lucid because of all these workers that are across the map, not doing much. Might pick up a worker kill. That looks like a trapped worker. Okay, that's some sort of compensation for having 5 workers across the map. And possibly kill a pylon? Shields are down. The stalker's out, but we know that it doesn't like to deal with what's in his base. He probably doesn't consider workers a threat. You don't want to send your whole army chasing a scout worker. But this is more than 1 worker. This is a bit of a threat, and it looks like that pylon Well, one drone has changed targets, so we can't call it dead yet. Let's see what happens when the second stalker arrives. If it heads towards the natural, it could be issues. I think having 5 drones off the line for this long was probably worth it to get a probe kill and a pylon kill. Well, if not worth it, at least you got some compensation. The second thought, it probably wasn't worth it, but he got some compensation, so it's not terrible. Layer is on the way, as is the Roach Warren. Worker count is still a very significant lead for the Protoss. Still no third or fourth gateway. Oh no, we do have a third gateway out of the Protoss. Oh, okay, okay, I take it back. That was good compensation because I don't believe Noob Game has any sort of generic function to repower unpowered structures. So instead of being on the normal 4 gateways, he's only on 2. He's got a third one with 200 resources wrapped up into it that's not getting repowered. And these gateways are not producing. It could be New Game's time to bug out. Look at the resources for New Game. Now it's him that's floating the 2,500 resources. Yeah, so I think somehow taking out that pylon has broken this bot. Maybe it's trying to build its 4th gateway here. And it's like, I can't. Okay, next frame I'll try again. I can't. And just hitting in the air every single frame. So we'll speed it up to 2x speed to see if something changes. Maybe like with Lucid, once he gets attacked, everything will kind of click back into functioning again. That did happen with the Protoss version of Lucid. Obviously, it was too little too late. But yeah, that's 5,000 resources. Yeah, even the stalkers aren't kiting properly. And unfortunately, not the way you want to go out. You want to put out your best effort when you die. It appears that Noob Game has getting thrown into the scrap pile. Nice little 2 wins that we got out of him. We got to see, like, you know, what his bot is about, at least, you know. Able to expand, able to make a lot of stalkers, able to kite the stalkers quite well. And you add all that up and you got a pretty solid foundation for a bot. Meanwhile, well, let's just take a look here. We've got multiple expansions, up to 4 bases out of Lucid.js, making a Roach Hydra Force. This looks like it could be a very difficult bot to deal with. We'll have to see how it does. And we will do that coming up shortly, as we'll add at least 1 more game to this video. Let's bring it back to the ladder list here. So Lucid PJS did fall to Noob Game, but Lucid Zed avenges his brother. And we'll move on to face Queenbot. So Queenbot is made by Rasper, who is the author of the best Zerg bot that exists on the ladder. And Queenbot was more or less just a proof of concept. Or not even a proof of concept, it was like a framework that other authors can use. It's available for you out there. And basically it takes what's available to you in Python and it adds on, it does all the Queen stuff for you, right? So it handles injects, it handles placing creep tumors, it handles creep spread, and it handles transfusing weak units. And he just kind of meant for it to do those things. And when he first put it on the ladder, it was actually beating a lot of the top bots. Because Queens are really strong in the early game and allows you to expand like crazy. And then the whole map turns into creep. And next thing you know, you're like a 2-base Terran versus a 17-base Zerg who may only have Queens, but it's still a tough situation to be in. As we can see, he's number 55 on the ladder now, so I think a lot of the bots have filled their weakness that they had against Queenbot, but still, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, so a little more information here. So this bot showcases the small Queen library created for use with Python SC2 to help with your Queen management. Yeah, so as I said, feel free to download, and there's a link Watch Hero Queenbot feature on popular Russian SE2 YouTube channel, Alex007. Yeah, so Alex007 actually has done some of bot games on his channel. If you speak Russian, if you don't, he's like a husky level SE2. Like I'm sure he makes his living just doing SE2 videos on YouTube. So he gets impressive numbers. Assuming you get good ad numbers in Russia. Maybe you don't. I don't know. What was I going to say? Yeah, and then you can find bot content on many other channels as well. Obviously, there's the two main ones: the Starcraft AI channel, which have the SE2 AI tournaments, the ES Champ channel, and the ES Champ Competitive AI, which were the two channels that hosted the ProBots tournaments. Laughing Games, some of you might know him. He does SE2 casts. He did a ton of Alpha Star casts, and now he's starting to do some bot casts as well. So those are some resources you can check. But with that, let's hop right into the match, which I've almost forgotten what it is. Is this even Queenbot, or am I getting ahead of myself? Yeah, it's Queenbot. So Queenbot versus Lucid Zed. So it's going to be a ZVZ here. Okay, this match will be taking place on Ice and Chrome. And as we get into the match, there we go. Production tab up. And in the bottom left, we have the challenger, the new bot, the higher bot on the ladder. It is Queenbot. And in the top right, we have Lucid Zed, the final Lucid bot, the final Node.js bot, and trying to go 2-0. He will be the Blue Zerg. So Ice and Chrome is a pretty large map. Definitely favors the Zerg, so advantage goes to both players. Actually, given Queenbot's style, I would probably give the advantage to Queen's. This map is probably good for Queenbot. It's the bot that spreads a creep. It's the bot that expands like crazy. Roaches are pretty good versus Queens. I could see the Roach Hydra style overwhelming Queenbot. Obviously, Queenbot's issue is with its composition. It makes only Queens. I think it randomly builds kind of spines and spores around the map just because he didn't want to... it was meant to be a demonstration bot, but at the same time, Rasper has, a bit of an ego like most of us do. So he's like, I don't want to just die to a single DT because I have no detection. So let me just build some random defenses just to give this bot, a small chance versus, cloaked banshees and stuff. I still think if Queenbot got his 3/3 upgrades for Queens, he might shoot way up the ladder. Because a lot of what Queenbot does is dominate the game and then realize, hey, these are 0/0 Queens. I can't actually deal with other people's late game armies. But with 3/3 Queens, maybe that domination turns into a victory. I do not know. He may also struggle with all-ins and stuff. My bot certainly had a lot of trouble with Queenbot. I would either lose or it would take me like 30-40 minutes to beat Queenbot. Alright, so speed is on the way from Lucid, and he has taken his expansion. And it looks like the expansion is going down slightly afterwards for Queenbot. Queenbot has focused on getting the spawning pool and the queen first. There's those random static defenses I was talking about. So it looks like he probably did have problems with all the cheesy bots that are out on the ladder. So he built some early spines to deal with, 12 pool or whatever nonsense could be coming right now. I'm sure this bot has the ability to do injects, or this little helper tool, or this little framework you can use if you want to use it yourself. I suspect he's not using it in this little demonstration bot, because why are you injecting? The only thing you're making out of larva are drones, really, right? The queens don't come from larva, so no need to inject. You can spend all your energy on these creep tumors and the later transfuses. This always confuses me a little bit. Usually this doesn't spread to the low ground unless it's connected somehow by creep. But every once in a while, I'll see it like this spread without this wrapping around. Like once he gets a creep tumor like here, they'll spread to like there, and then all of a sudden these creep tumors will take over, and then you'll see all this fill up with creep. I know that's the way it's supposed to work, but I've seen this spread earlier too. Maybe this hatchery. That's it, because the hatchery has creep underneath it. And as soon as there's creep down there, boom, all these creep tumors spread. That's so cool. So it's not really a bug, it's more of a intended feature. You think of a structure in production as not having creep, but it does actually have creep. That's why you could cancel it and throw down like a Evo chamber and block that way. So let's bring up the production tab. Roaches are on the menu for Lucid.js there. Grabbing a second gas. And single queen on the production tab for queen bots. He does have a lot of spine crawlers, which would be somewhat helpful, but I don't think he's ever going to like put them all out front together in a line, something that can deal with Roach Hydra. They're probably just in random positions, so that will help against random run-bys and harassments. Whenever I think of what to do with my bot, I always think of what's something that a bot can do that a human would struggle with. And one thing is you can build a lot of static defense at your main base, and then as you expand, you can uproot it and move it to another base. And that's just like annoying mechanics as a human player, but something that you can do automatically as a Zerg player. So if you wanted like 4 spines at each base, just build a lot more than that. And then as you expand, you can move 4 from one of your over-spined bases to one of your to your new base. Yeah, so unfortunately roaches are very good versus queens. So I don't see this working out well for queen bots. Out of transfuse energy. Roaches just have that. It doesn't seem like much, but it's got 1 base armor. Probably the cheapest unit in the game that comes with 1 base armor. And base armor is so strong versus queens, because queens do so little per attack. Only 4 damage per attack, so that gets reduced to 3. So basically that 1 armor means 25% damage reduction, which is gigantic. So nice creep spread out of queen bots. Unfortunately, I think that might be the only benefit to queen bots this match. And then it was EVZ. You know, you're just speeding up your opponent's units as well. I remember for a long time, like back in Wings of Liberty, pro players didn't spread creep in ZVZ. They didn't see it as a benefit. They didn't spread creep that much in general. Like the strength of creep spread wasn't really appreciated that much. But in ZVZ, they're like, well, it speeds up the opponent's unit, so I'm not even going to do it. That line of thinking has completely disappeared in the last 10 years since then. Obviously the vision it grants you and is pretty massive. The vision is actually more important than the fact that it makes your units faster. And the fact that you can reach all of your creep and your opponent probably can't means your queens can join any fights and his can't. So Luce is actually pulling back. Looks like he's rebuilding his army count. Actually building creep tumors on the other side of the map, which is interesting. This queen is looking for an overseer, I believe. He's gonna have this overseer is being a dick. He's like, yeah, go. Oh, you got me. No, not quite. Yeah, oh, just almost there. There, you got me. No. Let me just lead you out in the middle of nowhere. This actually makes me think, like when you spread creep, you probably want to spread to towards where creep doesn't exist. But in a ZVZ, that might not necessarily be good, because then you might be spreading it backwards. So you want to spread to where your creep doesn't exist. So you actually just want to spread away from your own creep tumors, not away from creep, just because of this matchup. I wonder how many bot authors have that logic set in. Okay, so we are back, and this army is getting massive. If we bring up the units tab, we got 14 Hydras and 15 Roaches versus a mere 11 Queens. Creep is looking nice, but yeah, the attack's not there yet. So he just saw a creep tumor, so he wanted to kill that. Maybe if we can get to like a massive Queen force and get to nice concave, maybe on the top of a ramp. The fact that the Roach Hydra will have issues having them all attack at once, and the Queens won't be dying because of transfuse. That could be good. But we're going to have to see a lot more Queens for that. If we bring up the production tab, we see he's building 4 Queens at once, and that's it. Doesn't really have the resources to do more. He's still building Spines and Spores. But the Spores will not be helpful. The Spines will likely not be in good positions. And an attack's now coming in, and he's going to be facing a mere 17. Okay, 17 Queens. That's nothing to scoff at. I still don't think it's close to being enough. But maybe if he fights like here, where this... oh no, it's not even his. It's Lucid's. I was about to say if this soaks up damage. But it's Lucid's Evo chamber across the map. That's hilarious. Bots of Transfuse would be so much more powerful if they never nerf Transfuse. Because now it heals like 150, right? But 100 of that is heal over time, which doesn't stack. Back in the day, it used to be an instant 150 healing. Where, you know, bot spamming it could be great. And I think with that, I mean, we do still have a lot of Spines left over, but I think this should be the final push. If Lucid decides that it wants to be the final push. Yeah, I'm going to speed it up to 4x. Because I think this is more or less over. Yeah, just 2 bases left. Not really any drone saturation here. The Queens have all died. Let's put it up to 8x, as this is certainly over. Unless Lucid crashes. So I think he's getting distracted by all these spreading creep tumors because he can see them with his own creep tumors. That's why he keeps pulling back. Did find the last mining base at a Queen. He does have a few mineral patches left at home. He can get maybe 1 or 2 Queens to fight with his Spines, but yeah, that's going to be about it. Yeah, heavily distracted. Every time a creep tumor spreads, he runs back to where the creep tumor is. But Queenbot's running out of creep tumors to spread, so eventually these guys will run in. Oh, you saw one spread up here, I think. Now we saw one spread down here. This is the problem with both you guys having creep tumors near each other. I think he's having trouble trying to figure out how to get into this base. Okay, there he goes. He's in. He did it, boys. Roach Hydra, good units. And Queenbot is defeated. Lucid retaining the King of the Hill, making 2 straight wins. We still yet to see a bot win 3 straight. And if we bring it back here, where are we at in this video? We are 24 minutes in. I think we should probably end the video here. But LucidJS defeating both Nuke Game and Queenbot. Moving on to Terran 002, which I don't know much about, but I can almost guarantee you is stronger than Terran 001. So look out for that next week. I'm probably posting these videos every day. Yeah, check out the next video and enjoy, guys. Have a good one.